Hello and welcome, and today is that of the 14th day of March 2018. It's also crypto day, and in this video just a quick look at some of the charts. Not too much really planned for this video, and like always everything is your own risk, own reward. Litecoin charts, you know what, you can say all you want about how cryptocurrency trading's like a roller coaster, and it kind of is. Trying to find an easy way to say that. And when you look at these 18 average, you can see how you have these fast moves down. And if you ride this through like a roller coaster would be, well, you can see how a lot of the movements are similar to such. Now, after you make a big move and going from this 230 handle falling down to 180 without really anything to make, not even attempt to make a lower high, you expect for sure you're going to make a lower high. And it did. There it is. So after you expect that, well, if it's a decent enough move, you have a pretty good chance of making a higher low as well, thus creating symmetrical activities. And after this move here, if this green candle, which occurred 2 periods ago, if it can hold its moves and not break below the 18 average of lows and will start an uptrend, then it would be that of a higher low, and thus a test of this level and a test, of course, again of this previous high. Now, overall within this market, I'm going to see a lot of lines on here, or we're going to see a lot of them on here, but the overall situation is how well it's been holding both the gain that occurred last year. I don't know how well, yeah, it did, because it held mainly at around the 0.01 handle. And that in itself was pretty big considering that it had this huge fall. And when you make a move from this high to this low, you're totally expecting a lower high. And I guess it did, but wow. Wow. And then when you make a move from this low to this high, you're totally expecting a higher low. And well, you did again. Okay. So I really like how it held this throughout last year, but what's even nicer is how it's holding the gains from not only last December, a few months ago within this sideways move, but how well the February rally, albeit a small one, it is successfully what I like supporting this major resistance from January and the year of 2017. So very much nice bullish setups in at this. All right, now a spreadsheet that I've been making is I like doing this because this helps me out as far as trading other cryptocurrencies against Litecoin. I've added 2 more to this list, NEM, or that of XEM, but NEM is what it's called, New Economy Movement, as long as Einsteinium, which is EMC2, as they both had nice uptrends going above their 18 average of highs respectively. And when I look at this, I put in the last trade, and when I got the trades in here, I started doing this roughly at the end of the 3rd week of February, or with 1 week to go to the end of the month. So for 3 weeks now I've been doing this, and I have 10 trades. It's been a very, very, very dry, boring, low volume for my part market over the last month and change. People might be saying it's over for the market, it's down so much, and well, a lot of stuff isn't going down because I'm not getting as many buy order fills, and I'm sure as heck aren't getting as many sell order fills as well either. But throwing that part aside, with Cloak, this is a code I bought at 49.07 last. The price is 47. Yeah, I could have bought cheaper, shoulda, woulda, coulda. But the whole point of me buying at these levels is I never know where the bottoms or tops are going to be. I can try to predict the best way that I can, and I know mathematically within the strategy that I use that it's going to create decent results. As when I look at the trade situations where you sell 13 of something for 0.56 and then you buy 20 of them for 0.46, or selling at 43.26 and buying back at 23.01. Here's a case where you buy at, or you sell at 7,800 and you buy back at around 5,000 or 4,900. So therefore, that one, I need price to go down to like 3,000-ish, 28 to buy back. Maybe sell again at around 7,500. EMC2, I sold this earlier at 2068, which is pretty much the current cost. I bought Core last at 2301, and it's at 1870, so it's got a little ways to go for me to buy back. The NX codes are getting very close to buybacks. Sold NXC at the 1477. It's at 862, so I could be buying that back really now if I wanted to, but I got buy orders in waiting to come in. Hopefully they'll hit automatically. And then I sold the S at XS at 1984 down to 1207. Again, I mean, there's nothing wrong with buying it now at this ratio, but still trying to get a little bit better of prices. Salus selling at 53.56, a little ways to go with it at 43.87. And I added the NEM sell at 28.01, currently at 24.07. Well, these markets as of 6:45 p.m. Eastern time tonight are those prices. But overall, it seems like everything is just very dry for the markets. The arbitraging, I was thinking when I got back into it January, and I started doing it from the outset, I was like, why did I even stop doing such the activity? Yeah, I know it was tedious, although easier now. And it was profitable, and wow, was it ever doing well? And then it slowed down, but still good. And then it slowed down some more later on, and it's as dry as anything now. It's almost wonder if I should quit doing what I'm doing because it's just not getting any work in. Although I'm kidding when I say that, because I know when markets move like this, especially when I was going through all of the back in times. And if you don't know what I'm talking about with back in time, search money charts back in time and you'll see a whole bunch of different codes. I'd go back and I would say, yeah, buy here and sell here, and okay, here's a long time where you're doing nothing. So in this case with LTC on this time frame from this period here, you're doing nothing. And you can have long periods where markets don't really go up or down. And to me, it seems with a lot of these codes, that's what I have been noticing, at least crossed against Bitcoin. And of course, as I've mentioned about Bitcoin, because I've been studying large moves ever since I started looking at charts. I started looking at charts for markets back in the fall of 2007. It didn't take me long before I was really into gold and silver. And then when I got a hold of historical data and found out that back in 1968, the price of silver was at like $1.25 or 70 or 71, somewhere around that time frame. A few years, not many, after 68, silver was $1.25. And then it went up to 50. So that was a difference of like 40x. So I really learned a lot about logarithmic scaling, mainly through that, as well as even researching the Dow Jones based on its 1933 lows of, oh, help my memory, how good is that? I think it was $40.40, 40.4. I think it might have been. Anyway, but I used the data from like a $40 low and a $14,000 high. So I was used to these big, high, low differentials. So I know as a mathematician that if an event were to occur where price action comes down to here, I see everybody looking at a move down like to the bottom of this screen, and they're saying it is over. Everybody's panicking. All the anti-naysayer Bitcoin people are going to be having heydays with their, let's say the video people saying, I told you so, Bitcoin is dead. Yet I'll be looking on here and say, okay, so it's made a gap fill back down to this key 38.2% level. So it's finally had a decent sized down move on a very long-term time frame. So I think much differently than a lot of other people came or do. And I did my video this morning about 3 different outcomes, because when I first started getting into it, one of the big things I asked myself is how well can you do in a market where it is choppily going sideways, and if it's in a downtrend, at least go back up and down, sort of like the stock market does, 1,000 down to 700. And even in situations if it never sees all-time highs again, meaning you get into a market, it goes up a bit, it goes down, and you play it for like 10 years, you see an all-time high a year into it, and then it just goes choppily up and down for a long period. How much can you make during that period? I was confident that I feel that I can. So in order for that to be the case, I have to position myself to be ready for any possible realistic corrections. And I know on Bitcoin, a standard correctionary move on the downside is 3,000. A half-assed one has already happened at 6,000, and a major one would occur to 1,000. A half-assed is 23.6% down. An okay one is 38.2, and a big one, and the last one I wanted to handle is a 61A, because the school of thought I come from is if a market is unable to hold a move from point low to point high, or high to low, whichever way you're looking at it, and it is unable to, and it gives back like say 61.8%, and it does worse after that, then it's a failed move. So therefore, the rally from this low of 2015 would be a failure if it holds and stays below $1,000 right now. Of course, most people would think I'm crazy when they think, what, it goes down to like 1,000 and it's not in a bear market? Well, a lot of time frames will show bear situations, and there have been a lot of great short opportunities or all that type of stuff. Yes. But the move from here to here would state that if you come down here and you find your support at that level, and it happens to be the bottom because you notice it, say, a year later, then that was just another case of Fibonacci finding that key support. On a lot of short-term time frames, and even on here, you can see that if this 61.8% level from this high and this low gives in, which is in around this area here, then it would be telling us that this rally is failing and that we could very easily have a new leg lower. So if 1,000 doesn't hold, well, that would tell us we'd have at least have a move down to 170, but probably down to about $30 or $40 as well, and pretty much to nothing. I don't think that's going to happen. And then in a situation on the reverse end, you have this high, you have this low. If this manages to get and stay and hold above the 61.8% level, then that would tell you that the selling was a failed move, and you would most likely have a decent break of this case, new all-time high. So that's the general way I look at the correctionary move. And yeah, so I think I'm done with a lot of the information. I got voxels I want to talk about, so that's the last one, and then I'll be finished. Voxels, this is probably one of my 2 or 3 funnest codes to arbitrage in the year 2018. This in Lomo coin. And I had to remove them all from Coin Exchange because I don't know what's going on there. I know on Bittrex they're switching the code up, so I moved all of them onto Bittrex. And a new code's going to come out tomorrow. Whether it's going to be good or not, time will only tell. But I was able to get in this back in the price at 2,800, and I'm doing phenomenally well, which is like, how could you do that? Buy low, sell high, playing amongst 2 exchanges. If you can buy one exchange at a discrepancy of the other, and for a while it was a huge discrepancy for opportunities that I was taken and given. Not so much almost for anything these days right now. But I realized the key word is right now. There's going to be days where the markets are going to be so crazy that I might only have time to do like 1 or 2 quick videos because I'm going to have so many trades I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to open up a whole bunch of hardware wallets, do a bunch of transfers and all that stuff. It wouldn't be that fun actually, but you know what? It's what it is. And the whole point is sometimes there's slow times, sometimes there's busy times. We're in a slow time as far as I'm concerned right now. But price discovery, which should come into play, because in about 24 hours, this thing is going to go through a new name. So I'm hoping this thing works out for me. I did enjoy, within the technical analysis and seeing this on the 1 hour time frame, that since the announcement, the market popped up and it's been holding this move relatively well. Again, 61.8% from this low to this high. If it doesn't hold and stay above somewhere in the area of around 1,300 and change or 1,400, then that tells you that this move is a failed one, or at least the evidence for it is in such. And don't be surprised if you eventually see a break of a key support thereafter. But yeah, I'm going to hold this and just see how this goes into Thursday. Thank you for tuning in to this video, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.